Coach, a lot of people have talked about Emmett getting a lot bigger. He just looks stockier, a little stronger. I mean, is that something you guys had wanted him to do, or can you speak to him getting a little stronger in the offseason?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything we do here is all about development, right, from a recruiting standpoint. And Emmett's really your first person, in my room, going through the 3-year car wash, 4-year car wash. He's going into his 3rd year with us, and he's developed every aspect of his game. Started with just seeing reads. It started with pass protection. Now it's, as he's accomplished all of the things of the running back position, now he's really at the last stage and really focused on his body. Really focused last offseason, really started to really put the hammer on him as far as getting his weight right. And now he's carrying 205, 203 consistently. And he can tell the difference. We can tell the difference. He's running behind his pads. He's getting physical when he needs to get physical. Everybody knows he can move laterally, but now he's starting to understand the difference between 205 and 193 and what that looks like. And so we're pretty pleased with that.
In terms of ball security, what's that look like from what you've repped in practice and in the scrimmages?
You'll see the guys when they when they leave practice. I'll make them do bicep curls. You know what I mean? So we preach ball security almost every snap here, and not almost every snap. We preach ball security, and a lot of that is arm power and bicep flexion. So we constantly watch drills. We'll watch ball security drills that we did with Christian McCaffrey, and we'll show the focus of guys like him and Mike Davis when we were there, and the detail that they put into the 20 minutes, 15 minutes of a period of having correct technique and utilizing correct technique correctly. So really proud of how serious he takes it. Coach Brown does a great job charting that every single day. Something we start with our meetings with every single day, just kind of, especially for the younger guys like Makai and Mose and Connor and Kenny, like the technique part of it. That's the drill's easy. It's about when the action's happening, are you using the technique? And when you get tired, that's usually when the ball gets let loose. So you got to really focus and lock in on the technique when you're fatigued.
I know Mosey ran the ball in high school some, but when you got him, when did you know, like, okay, he's got the goods for this position?
I mean, literally the kid in space is pretty special. He has just natural instincts in space. So that's kind of our plan with him, and just gradually get him right as far as the transition from wide receiver to running back. It's going to take some time. He's doing an excellent job. But he has natural God-given abilities, probably from his father, who's on our staff, obviously. But he's got some instincts where he has a feel for the game. He knows how to make people miss in a small space. He knows how to make people miss an open field. So any athlete like that, we obviously want to put the ball in their hands and try to exploit the defense for sure.
With him coming over, I mean, from receiver, do you have to emphasize the physical part more with a guy like that?
100%. 100%. That's the biggest. This first off, the cycle of the snap is different from a receiver standpoint, from a running back standpoint. Where do your eyes go pre-snap? Where do they go post-snap? That takes time in itself. So just learning the difference of the position, then all of a sudden the physicality part has to come in. Like, it's one thing to understand protection, then it's another thing to deal with the contact, and then utilize the technique while engaging with contact. So again, it's not going to happen like that. But from what we've seen since we started messing around with in the summer, he's making leaps every single practice. He's getting better and better. The best thing about the kid is he's a coach's kid, and so he takes the coaching points very seriously. A couple of times I've seen him in the back just doing movements by himself. I'm like, okay, so he's doing a great job.
I know it's not your job to necessarily diagnose the defensive line, but with that new kind of group that they've had, can you speak to what they've presented you guys in practice running against them?
They've been flashing for sure. As far as the movement goes, and I know Jalen George, he's been really standing out to us. Obviously, Pop. I mean, he's such a presence. You know what I mean? And so, Terry's doing such a job. I mean, you could feel Terry at practice. His energy is, in my opinion, one of the best I've been around. And I think that's just going to carry over. I just think, development and coaching is something that's so underlooked in this profession. And that guy there, he's one of the best I've been around as far as development, like from what I've seen, how he's pushing those guys. And I really appreciate that from him and what they're doing. And obviously, Coach Rule's a defensive line kind of guy. He's a defensive line mentality. And he's constantly always giving points. You can hear Coach Rule and all the time, and so I don't feel like we have something to worry about there. I think just like every other position, we're developing. You know what I mean? And so pretty pleased what I see out there on practice.
Hey, Coach, what about Quentin Ives? Obviously, early setback in camp. Has he been able to get back? And for him to sit back and see other guys doing so well, how hard has the month of August been for Quentin?
Yeah, he was crushed when he hurt his hamstring because I know this was a big year for him. You know, the year before that, we brought another back in last year and kind of jumped over ahead of him just from a physical development. He just was a little bigger, stronger, and so this is really his year. He was really excited about camp, and then to have the hamstring was tough for him, mentally. But the one thing he did, he kept it. He was very mature about the injury. So in meetings, he's been sharp. He's been sharp the whole time. That's the biggest thing. Like when you're not taking reps, it's easy to get your mind off of where it needs to be as far as the process. So going back to the cycle of the snap, and he's been pretty locked in, and so like he's back now in practice. He had his best day since he's been back yesterday. So he looks sharp. I'm really proud of how mature he's handled this injury because we're expecting him at some point to have a big year for us.
Strides did Mekhi Nelson make over camp for you guys?
Since Mekhi's gotten here, everybody's noticed and everyone knows about his explosiveness and his ability to find the end zone. I mean, that's pretty evident. So the biggest strides he has made has been off the field. He's really grown up as far as a note taker, as far as his attentiveness in the classroom. He's really understanding the seriousness of a mistake. If that makes sense. So like a young player may make a mistake and naturally just brush it off. But at this level, you only get 3 or 4 reps at a team practice, right? So we can't afford that. And so him focusing on the things he needs to correct and then applying in the next practice is the biggest jump that he's made off the field. Like Mose, he's going to take some. He's a young guy, but I think we're all pleased with what he's done this camp. He's really done a great job all around, and he's been pretty impressive. Now he's just got to do it on the game. That's the reality. He's got to do it in the game.
Can you describe what went into Vincent Genitone's position switch and maybe what he brings to the group too?
As soon as he signed with us, I heard 225, 10, I think 10-3 or something like that. Somebody said something that to me. Well, we got this kid. He was 220, broad jumps, whatever, 10 something. He's 4'4", 10'5". I mean, that kid, his body type, his power, his physicality. I mean, to me, he's like an old school throwback, running back. You know what I mean? And so he's done a great job showing physicality at the fullback position and at tailback. So obviously we lost Barrett Liebentritt. I know JB's done some things for us in the past at fullback. So last year we had Ty go in the backfield when needed. So what Vincent has shown from us from a short yardage standpoint and from a blocking standpoint, we're pleased with. So really excited about what he can do and continue to get better throughout the season.
Ty having played in that role last year with Barrett getting hurt, are there any other defensive linemen that are chipping at the bit to?
You have to find out. I'm not going to spill the beans on that one.
As a whole, how do you feel about the short yardage packages and how it's come along this game?
I think we were one of the better teams in the country last year in short yardage, and that's our plan is to carry that over again. You know what I mean? That's something that Coach Rule, our staff, Hogerson, especially Donnie, that's something that we pride ourselves in. That's probably the backbone of Nebraska football, I'd assume, is tough yardage, blue-collar football, go get it, right? That's kind of our mindset. And so we won't skip a beat there. That's our focus, and we plan to stay ahead of the pack in that realm.
Anything else for EJ? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.